Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm going to be wrapping up 2021. I know it's already 2022, we're like a third into the month, but I need to wrap it up even though nobody cares anymore. This is November and December because I never did a November wrap up, but I'm going to be mixing them all together because some of the things I read in each month are the same thing. So whatever, let's just jump into it. Whatevs. So I read Lock and Key volume 3, 4 and 5 on my Kindle. For some reason volume 6, which is the last volume, isn't on Kindle Unlimited, which is annoying. But yes, I very much enjoyed this series. I feel like this is a series that could have had more volumes. There's only 6 that wraps up the series, but so much happens in some of the volumes in the middle. I feel like this could have been put into a few more. Sometimes the opposite happens and a lot of comics have filler episodes, but I feel like this series could have done with a few more volumes to like get the story across without flooding you with loads of information. I feel like volume 5 had a lot of information and it all just kind of was thrown at you. But I very much enjoy this series. It's a horror, it's creepy, it's weird, it's different. Could have done with a few more volumes, but you know, hopefully I'll get to volume 6 soon. I'm gonna see if it's at my library or something because these are expensive comics. Luckily, I got the rest of them on Kindle Unlimited, but you know, I'm not going to buy volume 6. It's just not happening. Moving on. I also read the Tea Dragons Society and the Tea Dragons Festival, also on Kindle Unlimited. What can I say? I got 3 months free with my Kindle. I thought I should probably use them, so I'm using them. These were really cute. The first volume is really small. The second one is like 2 or 3 times bigger, so there's more of a storyline. But both of them I thought were pretty cute. The first one is mostly just look at these cute dragons that are also tea, but not much storyline. The second one, there was a lot more storyline to it and a lot more plot, but I enjoyed both of them. I thought they were cute. Also in December I read another comic by the same author, so I'll throw that in now. Princess Ever After. This one was another short one. It's about 2 princesses who, well, one saves the other, and then it's, you know, princesses can do the saving, but also princesses in love. It was cute. I read it very quickly on a break one time at work, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Next up, Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. This is the second book in the Hannibal Lecter series. Very much enjoyed it, just like the first one. It's something that I don't really read a lot of. Sort of this thrillery, horror-y, detective-y, killer. I watch a lot of it, but I don't read a lot of it, and these books are just showing me that, hey, maybe it's something that I should dip my toes into further, because I did really enjoy it. And yeah, looking forward to carrying it on. I've got the next one on my TBR for this year, so good times. Everyone knows what Hannibal Lecter's about, so don't really need to go into it, but it was very much a really good book. Life of Riley by Simon James Green, Beginner's Luck. This is the next one. This is middle grade. Simon James Green is a great author. I really enjoy his stuff. This one is no different. It was fun. It was silly. I genuinely laughed out loud at one point. It's all in my review on Goodreads, just saying. But yeah, this is a fun one. It is about Riley who goes to a carnival type thing, and then a psychic woman curses him, and then he has loads of really bad luck. And then a new boy comes to school and they become friends. And he feels like, maybe his luck's going to change with this new guy around, because it feels like he's really lucky. And yeah, it was just really cute. And this is the first in a series. It's called Beginner's Luck. And then Life of Riley is a series, I believe. So looking forward to the next one. Then I read Rick by Alex Gino. This is the companion novel to Melissa, or Melissa's Story, or George, whichever one you want to call it. It's called Melissa now. But yes, when I read that story, I was really interested in Rick. I wanted to see a bit more of him, so we finally saw it in here. It's just about him dealing with life, dealing with toxic friendships, trying to figure out who he is as a person. It's about family relationships, especially sort of connecting with his granddad, who he doesn't really know. And it was a really fun read, and I enjoyed it a lot. Next, I read The Cardigans, which is part of the series Criminal Intentions, maybe is what it's called. I can't remember the author, but their name is here. This one I've heard a lot about. It's one of those books that people seem to talk about a lot. This one is a detective series. There's like 25 books in the series. This author is like pa-pow, pa-pow. It's like CSI, throwing out all the episodes, throwing out all the books. And I wasn't disappointed, but I did expect a bit more just because of how much people love it, but also because it's an ongoing series that has like 25 volumes already and probably is still going. I can understand why I'm not like drawn in yet. I read this on the Kindle and it's about 2 detectives and a crime and them finding out who the killer was. I thought it was really interesting. I liked the crime. I liked them all figuring out. There was a bit of a twist on who was the killer, so I really enjoyed that aspect. And I am intrigued at both the main characters. I just think that maybe the hype around this series is what's made me think, instead of, ooh. I still am interested in reading it, but it is one of those ones that, unless I keep Kindle Unlimited, which I'm not going to, I got 3 months free, January is my last month, maybe I'll pick up another one this month, but if I don't, then I'm not going to carry it on because there's so many volumes. I don't want to be paying for like 27 million books. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, and it did leave on a few little, not cliffhangers, but little glimpses into these 2 main characters' life, like, oh, what happened to them when they were younger? Oh, what happened to them in their past? Oh, what's going on there? Oh, that's a little bit dodgy. Oh, who does he know? So there are those little sprinklings in that makes me intrigued, but also because I know the series is so long, I don't know whether to like dive in or not. I did really enjoy it though, in terms of what it was. I just was expecting more, I guess. Then I read Warmasters Gate by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the 9th book in the Shadows of the App series, second to last book. As you can see, a lot happens. It's a big chonker. Everything is culminating into the end. There's 1 book left. All the different characters, the paths they're crossing, they get into where they need to be for the last big crazy things that are happening. And yeah, it was really good. And that ending, that bloody ending, I am intrigued and I need to know what happens, and a lot is going on and it's really good. And if you like fantasy, if you like what's the word I'm looking for, steampunky stuff, if you like politics and war and different races and different kingdoms and different powers and magic people and also not magic people, and the not magic people don't believe in magic but the magic people clearly are magic, all that good stuff, give this series a go. It is 10 books long. Some of them are quite chunky, but if you like that sort of thing, you know, just throwing it out there. But yeah, very much looking forward to the last book and seeing what happens there, because that ending though, I'm guessing we're about halfway through, maybe not, but let's just throw over to one of the sponsors and then I should be back with more books. Why? Why are the 2 of you in the bath? This one's always in the bath running about, but what are you doing? Why are you both in the bath? And screaming. It's really irritating. Not screaming now, are you? What do you want? Why do you keep screaming? In the bath. Absolute fool. Weirdos. Next I read Swamp Thing Twin Branches by Meg Stiefvater and Morgan Beam as the illustrator. This one I enjoyed. I do feel like this again could be more than 1 volume. A lot of stuff happens. It could have been the first half of the story in one and the second half of the story in another, to give it a little bit more space to breathe, a little bit more space to show what's going on and the ending and what's happening. But I did enjoy it. It was a fun time. It's about these twins and they're both quite different. The main character one is very much into plants and weird stuff, and it's like a sciencey sci-fi type of thing because he's doing these experiments with plants and then weird stuff's happening. So I did enjoy it, but I do think that there could have been more to it if it was given a bit more space to expand. Either a thicker volume or into 2, I do think would have worked better for this, but I did enjoy it. And this is the sort of artwork we're working with in here. Next I read Lightfall Volume 1, The Girl and the Goldrian by Tim Probert. This was so cute and so fun, and it's like a middle grade fantasy adventure. It's great, loads of stuff happens. It's like watching a cartoon because different things happen and they have to get themselves out of different situations. It was just really good and I'm definitely looking forward to the next volume. It's about this girl and her granddad goes missing because he's going to do something, but he's also, I don't know if he's got Alzheimer's or he's just forgetful, but you know, she's not sure whether he actually knows where he's going and what he's doing. And then on the way she meets this guy and it's just really cool and fun and I enjoyed it a lot. And the artwork, And the artwork is just an absolute joy to look at and read, and like the whole reading experience was so nice. Just look at it, look at that. That was just an accident, but that is the page it opened on. It's just gorgeous. And the story is really fun as well, and he's just really cool. So yes, read it if you like middle grade fantasy graphic novel type things with fun times and a fun story. And yeah, it's really good. Then I read Rainbow Grey by Laura Ellen Anderson. This one, I just think reading this has shown me that I like middle grade, but when it's the higher end middle grade, because I feel like this was just too young for me. I couldn't enjoy it. I like the idea, I like the concept. It's about a girl who lives in the sky with all the other people that have the different powers of the weather, and they're the people that make the weather on Earth. So different people have different powers. Some of them control the winds, some control the rain, all that jazz. Our main character doesn't have a power, but then something happens, and as you can see by the front cover, rainbows exist. So the concept was really cute. I liked the illustrations throughout as well. So all the way through there's illustrations throughout the book. Obviously there's words as well, but try and find another one. There's another one. So yeah, I liked the inclusion of the illustrations because it gave you a little bit more to the story visually, but just the reading experience for me was just too young, so it was kind of annoying to read as an adult. Basically the thing that annoyed me the most is everything was about their bottom. It's like, hoo hoo hoo, bums are funny. I feel like even as a kid when I was young, I was reading Jacqueline Wilson and she didn't just go on about, to be fair, Jacqueline Wilson is a lot more harrowing than this, will not make the connections, but it's just like whenever the character fell, they fell onto the bottom. Whenever a spell was being used, it was aimed at the bottom, and it just got really annoying really quickly, and it carried on throughout the whole book. And I was just like, it felt weird just reading about this kid's bottom always being on show or being falling on or getting a bruise, or yeah. I just feel like this is too young. I like middle grade, but I like higher end middle grade, or not higher end, you like higher aged middle grade, or just middle grade that talks to the child more like an adult rather than a kid, if that makes sense. I just felt like this was too young for me anyway. I know loads of people love it, but for me it just wasn't quite enjoyable to read, unfortunately. The story was fun, but the writing was not. Also, without going too into like stereotypes and stuff, why is it always the people that look like goths or look like alternative people that are the bad guys? I'm just saying, it always happens. Why do the bad guys or the bad kids or the kids that are mean always have to have like a black fringe and look like alternative? You know, it's just portraying that stereotype that people already have, and it's not good. Just throwing it out there, but it's just a middle grade book, so I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not putting too much onto what it is, but I'm just expressing my opinion. Next up, I read Foxes by Suki Fleet. This one I just grabbed on Kindle Unlimited again. I've read the author before. I'd seen her put in an email talking about it, like it's one of her favourite books that she's read. It was on there, so I picked it up. Here's the thing, didn't read the synopsis. I thought, oh, maybe it'll be cute, maybe it'll sweet. I know it's about some sort of romancy thing, eventually, two people getting together. Here's the thing, it was about teen homelessness, about a murder, about sex work and vulnerable people. So going into it, I did not know what I was getting myself in for, but I did enjoy the book, but it wasn't what I was expecting and what I was diving into it for. But anyway, it follows our main character who is homeless. He lives on the street. Well, he doesn't live on the street. He lives in an abandoned house. And his best friend, who was a sex worker, was murdered. And so he spends his nights going around keeping an eye on the place, looking at men who he calls sharks, who give off that air of obviously trying to do stuff that's not good for vulnerable people that are working on the streets. He follows them around, he keeps tabs on them, he writes down number plates, he writes down who's going with who, so if anybody else turns up missing, he can give that information to whoever he needs to give it to. So that's what he spends his time doing, and then for money or for work or for food, he fixes people's things like mobile phones or electrical stuff anyway. And there he meets this new dude on the street, this American dude, tries to fix his phone, and then there becomes this sort of friendship and then relationship between them two. So I enjoyed the book in general, but I do think it was trying to do too much, but then also spending too much time not doing anything, if that makes sense. So at the beginning of the book, we see him doing all this stuff about his friend who was murdered, and then there was a section in the middle where it sort of was never mentioned, and I feel like it was just sort of pushed to the wayside, and then at the end it was wrapped up. So we do get that conclusion, we do get the information there, but I do feel like certain bits of it were sort of left flapping in the wind while they were talking about other bits. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but I don't think that it was, not that it wasn't written as well as it could be, but I think that certain things were pushed off for other certain things, or bits were talked about for too long compared to other bits. So yeah, it's about these two characters mostly, and what happened to them in the past, and why they're living on the street, and not necessarily trusting people, but then trying to find trust in each other. It's all this. I enjoyed it. It was good. Everything was wrapped up and given its own conclusion, so at least it did tell me about everything. But yeah, I just feel like there was just something missing a little bit. But moving on, because I felt like I talked about that for a long time. Yes. Next I read Sweet Tooth: The Return by Jeff Lemire with Jose Villarrubia. This is not a sequel. It is kind of a sequel to Sweet Tooth, but it's also kind of a spin-off, but it's also kind of not. This takes place like, what is it, 300 years after Sweet Tooth, so it's kind of almost a retelling but also not. We're following this boy who looks like Gus, and he's living underground with these weird people, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's been told that he's the last of his kind. But there's also conspiracy there, there's also people not telling him exactly the truth. I enjoyed it. It's like a one-shot, although it's not a one-shot because it's, you know, a full volume rather than an issue, but this is the whole story contained. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I've read some other reviews on Goodreads where people are like, oh, this is unnecessary, oh, it's a cash grab because of the Netflix Sweet Tooth thing. For me, I just really enjoy Sweet Tooth. I enjoy this story, I enjoy this world, so I enjoyed reading this. Yes, it's not necessary to the story. I wouldn't say it was, well, maybe it was a cash grab, I don't know, but I enjoyed this story anyway. I feel like Jeff Lemire put enough in here for it to be a reason that it exists. I liked it. I like Sweet Tooth. It wasn't as good as the other Sweet Tooth volumes, don't get me wrong, because it was telling about a different character, so you didn't get all of the people that we know. But I enjoyed it, and I thought it was interesting to dive into what's happening 300 years in the future. And here's the artwork. Apparently drinking out the bath is better than drinking out the water fountain and the water bowl. Who knew? Really? Is it that good? Then I read The Chalk Man by CJ Tudor. This is a thrillery type book, and it's told in the past when the main character and his friends were young kids, like 12, 13-ish, and then now in the future when he's about 40-ish, maybe mid-40s, something like that. And yeah, it's telling you like then and now and then and now, so you're getting the story from both ends and trying to figure out what's going on. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting with the synopsis that I thought I knew. I thought that it was, they did these chalk men as younger kids. You come back now and someone's killing off people. Don't get me wrong, there are murders, people are getting killed, but it wasn't exactly what I expected. It's a lot more about the mystery of what happened back in the day. Stuff is happening now, but it's connected to there. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. I don't read thrillers very often. Maybe other people that read this would have been like, oh, I knew exactly what was going on the whole way through. Because some people, if they read the same tropes all the time, they know what's going to go on with the tropes. But because I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought the writing style was really easy to read. It was really easily consumable. I wasn't getting, like, it didn't feel like I had to put effort into reading it. It was enjoyable. There were twists and turns. And the ending was quite fun as well. It was a bit different. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Then I read I Hear the Sunspot, Volume 1 by Yuki Firmino. This is like a slice of life. It's two boys, they become friends, and perhaps maybe in the future maybe they have feelings for each other-ish, maybe, possibly. but it's mainly about them becoming friends. And yeah, one of them is partially deaf, and so the other guy is helping him in class, help him writing down what's going on so he can read it later and know exactly what's going on in exchange for getting fed. It's very manga, like that. This sort of story it's not something that you would necessarily find as a full book, but it was fun, it was nice. There's another volume of this, and then there's like spin-offs, I Hear the Sunspot as well, so I enjoyed it. It was nice, it was cute, it's slice of life. Not much storyline happened, but that's what you get in here. I enjoyed the experience anyway. And here's the artwork. Don't worry guys, we're getting towards the end. So next up, I read The Hidden Witch by Molly Knox Ostertag. This is the second book in this graphic novel series, which is about a boy who is a witch. In the first volume, we find out that in this family, boys are shapeshifters, girls are witches, but he is a witch. Nobody believes him, and then a bunch of stuff happens in the first volume, and this carries on from there. I don't really want to tell you much about this because it does give you spoilers or gives you information about stuff that happened in the first one. But yeah, it was fun, it was cute, it was nice. And here's the artwork. And finally, last but not least, the last book I read in 2021 was The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. This wrapped up all of my 2021 TBR reads, so I got that done. It wrapped up a series, The Remnant Chronicles. This is the last book in there, and it was also a really good book. So like win-win-win really. So this, like I said, is the last book in The Remnant Chronicles. I read the other two quite a while ago. I read the first chapter in here, and then I had to go and look on like some sort of Wikipedia page and remember what happened in the last book because it's been a while. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really like how this whole book came together and what happened. I do think the last sort of battle, like this book is quite chunky. It's what? It's like over 670 pages, and stuff was happening, stuff was building up, and then it got to like the last 40 pages and we were just about getting into the last battle. So I do feel like it was kind of rushed the last bit, but I really enjoyed getting there. I like the characters in here. I can't really talk about them because it's spoilers for the first book. So the first book in this series is one that you may have heard of, The Kiss of Deception. And in there it follows three characters. It follows a princess, a prince and an assassin. The princess runs away from a marriage. The prince is the guy she was meant to get married to and he's trying to find her. And then an assassin is trying to find her, but you don't know which one is which. So it tells you from all three of them perspectives, so you get to know all the characters, but you don't know what they're there for, what they're trying to do. Are they trying to kill her? Are they trying to not kill her? So it's a really fun time. And then obviously there's another book after that, and this is the third one. One of the things I just want to mention that I loved about reading this book, at one point someone tells Leah, the princess, about something that happened with a person, and I can't say names because then it might give away the first book and who is who. And then she goes to this guy and she's like, oh, why don't you tell me, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, Leah, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, I've told you, I'm not listening to you. And he's like, no, 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 no. And then she does it like 3 times, and then he says, Leah, stop talking over me and let me explain. And I was like, oh my god, a book that actually purposefully tells you the character to shut up and then lets the character explain. I wish this happened more in books, because one of my biggest pet peeves about reading books is unnecessary miscommunication. To move a plot along for no reason when there's loads of ample space and time for a character to just say one sentence to another character and then that whole misunderstanding not happen. So to see that on the page, like to see this guy say, stop talking over me and let me tell you, I was like, oh yes, thank you, give me more of that. So just reading that sentence made this book really great, but then also it was really good for other reasons, like the storyline and the plot and the characters and all that. So yeah, very much enjoyed this book. Glad I finally finished this series because I've been reading it for a while, and it was a nice way to round off the year. So that is all. Those are quite a few books because it was 2 months worth, but hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully you got through this, hopefully you didn't hate this because it's obsolete when we get into 2022 to talk about them books. I still wanted to do it, so there they were. Let me know down below any thoughts, feelings, information. Say some words down there and I shall reply to them. That's what it's all about. Also, tell me what you read at the last of 2021. Did you finish your reading goals? Obviously that last book was the last book on my TBR for that year, so I did. Woo! Yeah, just say some words down there, innit? That's what it's there for. Comment boxes. Comment. So yes, if this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others, and if you continue to enjoy them, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I will see you in a few days with another video.